Before we jump into lesson 5, I hope you guys had enough time to practice your friction zone. At least 30 minutes of that back and forth. Do 50 repetitions of that if you have to, 100 repetitions. Just do as much of that as you can until that friction zone, you kind of start to understand that. You know that halfway through your friction zone, the bike's going to want to pull forward. And then before you fully disengage that clutch and completely release it, the bike can travel on its own without any throttle input. So as long as you have balance, you can move without your throttle. You can just release that clutch, pick up your feet, and the bike will move. What we're going to do today is a slow, straight line. A little bit of turning in order to reset yourself on your trajectory of having a slow, straight line. But the steering inputs are like a bicycle at low speeds. You don't have to do any crazy techniques. It's just you can do wide arcing turns, but pretty much what we're doing here is a slow, straight line. So we're going to come off that clutch. We're going to get to a speed where we can pick our feet up. And this is where it starts to get to the point where you're riding the motorcycle. This is that scary step over understanding and conceptualization of what the buttons do and how to turn the bike on. This is that point where you're actually going to start riding it. So everything prior to this, I hope you practice quite a bit. Now we're going to practice this one even more. So I'm going to get started. I'm going to jump on the bike the same way we have in the past. We're going to mount it and turn the bike on and then put it into first gear. So everything we've done so far. So mounting the bike like normal, kickstand up, key on. Right now we're in first gear because I was just demonstrating turning the bike on and off, finding that friction zone, so we're still in first gear. So I'm going to go ahead and just pull the clutch, turn the bike on, and we're already in gear ready to go. There's no neutral light, everything's good to go. If you don't have a gear indicator, again, you're looking for that neutral light. And if that neutral light is on, that means that you can just pull your clutch, look down, smash that shifter into first gear, and now we are ready to ride. So I'm going to transition to first person view so you can see what I'm doing, but right now I've got my hand on my clutch, we are fully engaged, and the brake is just ready to pull if I have any kind of scary moments. If I feel nervous, if I'm traveling too fast, if I'm coming up on the end of my straight line and there's an obstacle and I don't feel comfortable with my turning, I can just stop and then walk the bike around until I can get back to another spot to continue my slow straight line. Friction zone, bike's pulling, front brake to stop. Now, practice that some more as much as you need to, and then once you feel comfortable with the point where you can maybe start like walking the bike a little more, get to a speed where you might be able to pick up your feet, and that, depending on your bike, depending on how much balance you have, that could be 2 miles an hour, that could be 5 miles an hour. Now, more than likely, you're going to get to about 2 to 3 miles an hour, and you're like, yeah, this is fine. So trust your instincts, trust your intuition. It's 7:30 in the morning out here. It's nice, cool weather. I've got all day. So I'm not stressed for time. I'm not trying to learn this as fast as possible. Now, the tips for this one is keep your eyes up. Avoid the temptation to look down at your controls and try to figure out what you're doing, because when you look down, that's where your center of balance is going to transition to. As long as you are familiar and you understand how to use your clutch and your brake to stop, your eyes can be up. You don't have to look down at all. So avoid the temptation to look down, and we're just gonna friction zone a little bit. We're gonna hit that 1 mile, 3 miles an hour. Here we go, and then we're gonna pick our feet up. Again, I'm gonna do that one more time. I'm gonna go straight at the camera. You can see me one more time. I'm gonna do this again. This is the part where a lot of people have problems with, is knowing when to pick your feet up. And then once you pick your feet up, the balancing part of like, okay, I need to let go of the clutch at some point. I can't just ride it forever. So we're gonna get to that friction zone halfway into our clutch. We're gonna start walking with the bike, and then right about here, I'm light on my feet. The bike has taken off without me. I'm not touching the ground anymore. I'm gonna pick my feet up. I'm gonna do some slight steering, and then, oh no, the turn's right there and I'm gonna miss it. So I'm just going to pull the front brake, put my feet down. Make sure, that's another thing that people often forget, is to put your feet down when you're ready to stop. Because if you just pull the brake and you stop, you're gonna fall over. You gotta put your feet down. I say this over and over and over again. Every time that you are trying a new skill, you need to practice it way more than you think you even need to. Just get that really down tight. So the weight of the bike. I'm gonna go ahead and stop right here. And again, I'm light on my feet. I got the balance of the bike with my thighs. We are good to go. Like, I'm not controlling the bike with my hands much at all, just that clutch. So light on my feet, my thighs are gripping the tank. And I'm gonna just light on my feet. Come off that clutch. And then now my clutch is completely disengaged. I'm not touching the clutch, I'm not touching the throttle, and just for demonstration purposes, you can see what I'm doing here. I don't recommend doing this when you're learning. You keep your hands on the handlebars. but I'm not touching the bike. The bike is riding itself. All I can do right now is steer. So I got a turn coming up right here. So I'm going to make a wide, arcing, easy turn. And all I'm doing is just pointing the bike where I want it to go. I'm not doing any body positioning, any negotiation of that corner. All I'm doing is I want to go that way. So I'm going to steer the bike really slowly where I want it to go. And you do this. This is all you do. You can go a slow straight line, your eyes are up, and you are just planning where you want to go ahead of time. And we're going slow. We're not giving it any throttle. I've given it, this whole time I've given it no gas. So we're going to turn this way. So I'm going to just point the bike where I want it to go and take my time. This is all we're doing. Slow straight line. And we've got a long straightaway here, so that's all I'm doing is this. And this is a good point where you can pull the clutch and pull the brake. This is where you want to stop, right? So, okay, I want to stop right here. So I'm going to pull the clutch and then ease on that brake, get my feet ready to stop, and then regain control of the motorcycle with the weight. Once it stops, I'm on the ground. I have full control right here. The bike's not going to tip over. And we're going to get going again. So we're going to ease on that clutch, light on my feet, pick my feet up whenever I feel comfortable to, and then ease off that clutch some more. And now I'm not holding the clutch, and I can just keep my eyes up and point the bike where I want to go. Super simple. Now, while we're doing slow straight line, you can give it throttle. This is where if you have a really open straightaway and you're going 7 or 8 miles an hour, and you've done this enough times where you can pretty much steer the bike, like this is your practice. You can steer the bike wherever you want to go. You know, if I want to go this way, I can go that way. I can look, eyes up, look this way. I can point the bike that way. And you're naturally going to be doing the body language thing. You're going to be getting that familiarity down. I'm going to turn here. I'm going to get a straightaway. And then let's say you do this for 30 minutes and you feel really comfortable with just no throttle input, just doing straight lines, just doing wide arcing turns. I want to give it a little bit of gas. So open straightaway. I'm ready to clutch, ready to brake, right? Here's your throttle, find that play, and then just give it a little bit. Now we're up to 11 miles an hour. And now I'm going to come off of that because I don't want to give it a whole lot of gas because I'm still in a parking lot. I'm still training. I'm still learning, right? So we're going to do another one of our wide arcing turns right here. Another one. We're going to turn left again. And now another straightaway. So I'm going to give it a little bit of gas. So just a little bit. There we go. Now we're up to 10 miles an hour, 11. And now if you're looking down, you're not looking up, right? So you're looking up because you're seeing a turn coming up. So I don't want to be looking at my speed the whole time. Just getting a feel for how we're going, how we're doing here. And then I'm going to come off the throttle. We're going to make another one of these wide arcing turns, come all the way around. I'm going to come up to here, pull the clutch, pull the front brake, come to a stop, and then regain control with my feet. The bike is mine now. The bike is not traveling on its own. It's not balancing itself. My feet are on the ground. I've got control. And we're going to go again. So a little bit of clutch. We're going to light on our feet, let it walk us a bit. And then as I come up to my stop, this is my final destination right here. I'm going to pull the clutch, come up here, pull the brake, and then remember, feet down. This is where you can gain control of that bike again. The bike is not moving. It wants to fall over right now. There's no kickstand. So I am the kickstand. My feet are down. I have control of the bike. And then we're going to dismount.